I was a mind control victim in these same black budget operations, and I was used as a propagandist by the CIA to help bring in the New World Order. I was actually a media person, I still am, radio and TV and print journalism, and basically they set me up through a CIA front company to propagate the New World Order through New Age propaganda. That's about the best way I can say it. And that's a comment I want to make. A lot of this New Age material that we see coming out today, it is an Illuminati ploy to bring in the New World Order. It's sort of a diversionary tactic, part of it. It's a way to get people to be complacent and under mass mind control. And that involves a lot of the trance channeling, all those sorts of things. It's a way to sort of lull people into a false sense of security based on a false spirituality. I can say that I've been under very severe harassment pretty much for the past 4 years, since 1994. And interestingly enough, 1994 was the time at which I started to speak out, not publicly even, but just to tell people some of the things that I'd been involved in.
What did you start saying?
About what?
In 1994, what did you start saying that created
Okay. Well, it was something, I think, about breaking my programming also. But when I broke my programming, which means I started to remember that I had been programmed, that I was leading a double life, in essence, for a number of years, many years. It's when you break your programming, it's very difficult. But when you break your programming, they'll do whatever they have to do in order to make sure that they re-recruit you, or they can stop that from happening. So if they can't stop you from remembering, they hope that they can stop you from speaking. All right?
She came in and she said she wanted her head shaved. The hairdresser refused, so she literally grabbed the hair clipper and started doing it herself.
Bradley, did she say why? I mean, did she offer any information?
They asked why she wanted to shave her head, and she said, "I don't want anyone touching me. I'm tired of everybody touching me." Another employee there told Us Magazine she wasn't making sense at all, and you could tell she's not in a good place at all, and that she's totally freaking out. She was a nightmare.
Information. Leslie?
Certainly is a different look for Britney Spears, Mark and Michelle. With me now is Emily Wynn Hughes. Emily, you were inside the tattoo parlor when Britney arrived and got her tattoo, and you asked her why she shaved her head. What did she say?
She basically just said that she was tired of having things plugged into it and she didn't want anybody to touch her, tired of people touching her, that sort of thing. It seemed like she was kind of sick of it all, whatever it all is.
What would you describe her mood as being?
She seemed very distraught and disturbed. She was very scatterbrained and wasn't really answering many questions.
Okay, good time to come out.
I didn't know and I was waiting.
No, this is a good time. This is a good time. We were talking about anger.
I know I don't like...
2 years ago, Gretchen was diagnosed with multiple personality disorder. She struggles to function every day and is desperately trying to understand what is wrong. Gretchen's problems began when she was a child.
When others come out, I don't always know what's happening. What happens to me is I get pulled in. I feel like I'm just shutting down. I'm very far away. I can't, and I have no conscious awareness of what's going on out here. Keep very still.
When Gretchen switches to another personality, she is often unconscious while the other personality is in control. Sometimes she loses hours, sometimes a whole day. Gretchen communicates with her other personalities by writing back and forth in a journal.
My writing myself.
Each personality has a different handwriting.
I requested when we started this that please, when someone is out, will they please write the date, the day, and the time, and where they were, who they might have seen. If they would please give me an idea of where the body's been. Because it was hard for me not to know where this body's been, to come out and find myself in a place or realize that half a day's gone. Did we go to class? Did we meet who we were supposed to meet?
That's like a new movie and stuff.
Baby, that movie is... I watched it fucking 4 months ago on DVD.
Where have I been?
Over here. You've been on tour.
I'm confused because I feel like I've been missing out.
Missing out on what?
On life.
I really don't think that that's the truth.
You think this is what I have to talk about.
Okay.
I feel like I've been missing out on life.
Like what part of life?
Life. Like things and things going on. Like I feel like I'm behind or something. I know that sounds so weird.
In early times, evil spirits were thought to possess people and make them act in strange and frightening ways. By the 1800s, the study of this hysteria led some doctors to believe one person could have separately functioning personalities. In this rare research film from the 1920s, a woman has different personalities who believe they are separate people. One is a male who is not comfortable in women's clothes. Another is a small child. The affliction has been known by different names but recognized for centuries. Today it is called multiple personality disorder. A college student has many personalities, and one of them wants to kill her. A 40-year-old policeman has living within him a tortured child.
But Dad, can you tell me?
A wife and mother becomes a 5-year-old who is just learning to write her name. Why have they become tormented and broken into different personalities? What is the childhood pain that lies buried in the unknown depths of their minds?
Dr. Green had electrodes on my body, including my head. He used what looked like an overhead projector and repeatedly said he was burning different images into my brain while a red light flashed aimed at my forehead. In between each sequence, he used electric shock on my body and told me to go deeper and deeper, while repeating each image would go deeper into my brain, and I would do whatever he told me to do. I felt drugged because he had given me a shot before he started the procedure. When it was over, he gave me another shot. The next thing I remember, I was with my grandparents again in Tucson, Arizona. I was 4 years old. You can see from this experiment that Dr. Green used trauma, drugs, post-hypnotic suggestion, and more trauma in an effort to gain total control of my mind. He used me in radiation experiments both for the purposes of determining the effects of radiation on various parts of my body and to terrorize me as an additional trauma in the mind control experiments. These horrible experiments have profoundly affected my life. I developed multiple personality disorder because Dr. Green's goal was to split my mind into as many parts as possible so he could control me totally. He failed, but I've had to endure years of constant physical, mental, and emotional pain, even to this day.
When Gretchen is in distress, she switches to a personality that is emotionally stronger.
You know, if Gretchen's having a hard day, I come out and I go to class. I take exams. I study. And a lot of that's easier for me to do than it is for her. I just seem to pick up concepts faster. She gets so nervous and stuff.
An aggressive personality emerges when Gretchen must be assertive and handle stressful situations. The personality, who goes by the name of myself, is often hostile and critical of Gretchen.
She gets so overwhelmed that she can't think clearly. She becomes frightened. She becomes depressed and non-functional. She just doesn't function. She will just sit and do nothing.
And it all happens as she's starring as a kind of villain in the tabloid accounts of supposed jealous arguments and then a horrible breakup with her self-proclaimed first love, Justin Timberlake.
You've had a rough year. You've had a year that would test a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Illness in the family. Mm-hmm. A breakup. This spasm of publicity about what happened from Mexico to London.
It was pretty rough, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Ah, weird. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hello. Ew.
drawn Britney. Yeah, it was a weird